Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Hey, I've got something exciting I want to talk about today. Why is it exciting? Because everybody that goes out and gets a new or a gently used Tacoma typically is interested in doing this. At least I get a lot of questions about it, and that is wheels and tires. They always ask, what wheels and tires do you have? So I thought we'd take a look at that and see how they're wearing. How are the wheels and tires wearing that I have on this truck? Now, like I said, I get a lot of questions about the size and do they rub and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look, because I haven't really looked at them that closely in a while myself, and see how the tires are wearing. So let's start in the rear. First of all, we have fuel wheels on here. You guys can see these are fuel wheels. Now, I love these wheels. I love the way that they look, but I have one issue with them, and you guys can see it right there. And that is the ponding of water. Because I have this lip here, you guys can see there's a lip here. When these get wet, water collects right here. It sits and then it evaporates, and all the gook and junk that's left over sits right here in the wheel. That's one regret that I have. Otherwise, I love the look and how these things are holding up. If you notice, there aren't any chips or scratches or dings or anything like that in these wheels. Now, people will argue, well, you don't do a lot of off-roading, so if you were off-roading, you'd have chips and dents and all kinds of stuff in these wheels because they're painted. Now, let me say, first of all, I won't argue that. Yeah, I probably would. However, no matter what wheel you're running on your truck, if you're an extreme off-roader or a frequent off-roader, you're going to come up against rocks and ruts, and you're going to scrape the wheels against the mud. I mean, mud is made up of little tiny pieces of rock, right? So it's abrasive. My point is, any wheel you have on your truck, if you subject it to those kind of conditions, is going to get scratched, potentially even chipped. I've seen the old chrome wheels with actual hunks taken out of them, probably from off-roading. So I'm happy with these. For the conditions that I run them in, they're holding up really, really well, and I would highly recommend them. Now, first of all, what size are they? Well, they're 20-inch. People ask me, what size wheels are they? They're 20-inch fuel ANSYS. So now, let's take a look at the tires. I'm more interested in seeing these. What I'm running on here right now, these are 290, or 275 rather, 275 60 R20s. They are Nitto Ridge Grapplers, and I love the look of these tires. They're nice, they're aggressive, they've got a little bit of treading here on the side. I think that's pretty cool, and the ride quality, while not the best, I will say this is a rougher ride than you're going to get with an all-season regular tire. Now, that's going to be true of any tire that you get. If you're expecting to go out and put on a more aggressive, deeper treaded tire and get the same ride as you have in your nice smooth all seasons, you're probably deluding yourself. I mean, if you look at the tread work on here as compared to a regular all season up there, you can see it's quite more aggressive, and it is going to give you a more aggressive ride. So how are these things holding up? Well, if we look at them from the back, you'll notice there's no uneven wear over here, nothing in the center. So from an inflation standpoint, they're not cupping, they're not underinflated so that they're causing wear points across the tire. And you can see that on both sides. The other thing that I wanted to look at, how are they running side to side? And to do that, you just really need to take a look at the crispness, sharpness of the edges on the tread. This look almost brand new to me, and you can tell from the depth, stick my pinky in there, from the depth of the tire, the tread is probably almost exactly like it was when I got them. But going back to wear, you can see here on the edges, they're a little bit cupped, or not cupped, worn, I guess you might say, but it is very, very minimal. Both on the inside there and the outside here. Matter of fact, you can probably tell they're a little bit crisper here on the inside. So the outsides are wearing a little bit more, at least on the driver's side. If we go over here and look at the passenger side, you can see the same kind of thing here. Not as crisp. The edges are a little rolled over, if you will, on the outside, and on the inside a little bit more crisp. So maybe that means the tire needs to be slightly adjusted this way so that it's not wearing as much on the outside edges. I'm not sure. Now let's go check the front passenger side. We'll look at the rear obviously first, and you can see there is a little bit more wear here on the edges. That would make sense to me because obviously you're turning on those edges when you turn the truck. How about on the inside? Let's take a look in there. Again, a little bit crisper here on the insides. So it's really when you're taking that outside turn that you're getting a little more wear, and no cupping or anything on those tires either. Let's go around to the front driver's side tire. Check that out here from the rear. Again, you can see a little bit of rounding here on the edges, and that again I believe is just due to turning. About on the inside edge, more crisp, you can see here on the edges, sharper edge. That's good, I think. It means it's not rolling on the inside when you're turning. And let's go around here and check on the fronts. Let me grab my light here. Kind of take a look on the edge here. Again, you can see the same kind of thing. A little bit of rolling on that sharp edge. If we look on the inside, you can see how much more crisp it is there. Look right there. You can see how crisp that is. That's the passenger side. Let's check the driver's side. Same kind of thing. You can see it's a little more rounded on those edges. And then we'll take a look on the inside. And same as the passenger side, a little bit crisper. As far as any kind of cupping or wear on the inside or middle of the tire, nothing on the driver's side, and nothing over here on the passenger side. Now, next, another question I get is related to what will fit, you know. Again, I don't have any rubbing issues with this particular setup. I did when I had these tires on. These are a bigger tire, and they are a, let's see, a 295 55 R20. They actually did rub the UCAs here in the front, and that's the upper control arms right here. So you have to watch that. When you're going to put wider tires on, bigger tires on your truck, you want to make sure you've got at least a hand's width or inch or so clearance in between the side of the tire here and the UCA. If you don't, when you turn and hit bumps, the tire is going to articulate and you are going to rub the UCA. I was rubbing here in the back on this edge and here on the front when I'd go over a more severe bump because the tire was too close to the UCA. Now, the other couple of places to look at, obviously, we'll start here in the back. This is pretty simple because the tire doesn't turn. Obviously, you don't want it to rub your fender wells. There's plenty of room there to allow the tire to go up and down on the suspension. If we go to the front, now we have to be concerned with not only up and down travel, but side to side because we turn. So you want to make sure there's enough space here so that when you turn that tire, it's not going to rub the interior edges here. And you can see on mine, it does not. It'd be pretty evident that plastic would tear up pretty quick with this more aggressive tread rubbing against it. And I don't have that there. If you look over here in the front, same thing. Up in front of the tire there, you need to make sure there's clearance, as well as way down here on the edge, on the inside, where it could rub the inner fender well, or cover, I guess. The other thing is the lovely chin strap that's on this truck. Mine, when I had the original first set of tires, I had them trim this because it came down more of a straight angle like so. And you can see if it was sitting down here, when the tire turned, it would hit. So I had them angle this down, kind of trying to match the position or the angle of the fender itself. And I think it actually looks better this way, whether you actually have bigger wheels and tires on it or not. I just think it matches the lines of the truck better. But in doing this, if you decide to leave this on, and I know a lot of people take it off, I actually had mine off, but we're going to be doing something with the truck pretty soon, so I put it back on for that reason. Otherwise, I would not be running these. You got to make sure that you have room here, obviously, so that you don't rub that tire. Now, the reason I put this up again, I get a lot of questions about this on the channel. You know, what size wheels, what size tires, do they rub? The biggest thing that you have to consider when you're changing out your wheels and tires is offset. You need to make sure that you have the right offset so that your tire itself is not too far into the truck so that it hits that upper control arm. That's what I learned. I made that mistake when I did it the first time. I did not have the proper offset and I was rubbing against the UCA because the tires were too big for my setup. Anyway, I just want to get on here, talk about that for a few minutes. A lot of people ask, so I thought I'd put it all in one place so that you guys could see at least my setup and what I've been successful with. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you're having trouble, if you've ever put something on, or maybe you're still having trouble and you didn't go with the right setup. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. And remember, if it weren't for you guys watching, I'd just be a guy on the web talking to himself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.